Hey there, everybody. Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This is our video reaction for The Circle episode 10. We are almost there. We are at a point where I'm going to have to hold up some fingers as well to make those numbers work. Because
right.
we are so close to the finish line. We are seeing the field whittle down more and more. Another player has been blocked. They had a face-to-face meeting to have it happen, and we had, in what feels like a real traditional legal sense, state your case where there are no courtrooms and everyone is just like, airing out their dirty laundry for everybody to see.
It was a wonderful dumpster fire.
It always is. Like, I feel like they could.
It's so good.
I feel like they could even get so much worse, which is sort of like if we have a Circle season 2, I want a few more people to go to the jugular a little bit more often.
I know, but if you want to win the game, you can't.
I know.
You can only do so much.
You got to balance things out, but we'll break down some of these moves because I think there's some interesting ones. And before we do, if you like this video, just be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other updates. Let us begin, though, with our game, State Your Case, where you basically just have to say, who is your biggest rival, and why are they your biggest rival?
Yeah. There was some questionable kind of moves in there. I think some people just were in a weird spot, like a Sean or an Ed, because they don't really know anybody.
Yeah.
So just going into it, I was surprised there wasn't more from them just from what they've seen, that Shuby's been influencer over and over again, that they wouldn't be like, he's my biggest threat because he's always in charge, and that is a problem. Like, where was that?
I have a lot of questions about this process. Like, I want to know if they had to lock in their answers before they saw other people. And the only reason I wonder this is I remember when I was a Beauty and the Geek and I had to vote somebody off at one point in the season. Like, they made us lock in our answers before we started hearing who other people wanted to vote off. And then after that aired, like, we got a bunch of just junk from people who were like, you guys are idiots. Why didn't you do this or that? Because we had to do it in advance. And I want to kind of know that. But I also am kind of wondering, why not, if I was in the Circle, I would have just said Ed. Because Ed's not winning. Ed's not making it far.
He's making it further than I thought. It was actually kind of interesting that there were a lot of people that weren't really looking towards Ed for anything, and Joey kind of used this as an opportunity to get close to Ed. It was interesting.
Yeah, I just think it's such like an easy cop-out to the game to just sort of like point towards the new person and be like, they're my threat because I don't know them.
Well, and that's an easy way to get somebody out, and I mean, we will get to more of it later, that we did end up seeing Sean leave in a very unsurprising elimination to me. Yeah. Because it does feel like we were going to lose a Sean or an Ed, and next time we're going to lose whoever it wasn't, and so forth. The core is such a strong core, and they all make sense to sort of keep until that final 5.
Let me ask you this. Would this have been even more fun if it was anonymous and you didn't have to attach your name to it? Because if I was anonymous, I would have thrown Chris's name out there so hard and talking about how he's so likable, everyone likes him, he's real, and because of that, he's dangerous to win at the end.
Anonymous would have been fun, but it was good that they forced people to have their names attached to it, because this deep into the game, the whole anonymous thing, I think, wouldn't have played out as fiery as it did this time, because we did have to have some of our core group call each other out. It was just more so how they decided to deal with it was more of what was expected, which is sort of like a, oh yeah, you're calling me out, Chris, that's all right, but I still love you kind of thing. Yeah. And I think even if they were anonymous, besides someone like Ed, this isn't that group.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw that with, Shuby took a big risk here, I think, and more so than a lot of other people, and he basically called out his #1 ally and was just like, you're my rival, but I love you, I just have one influencer more than you.
Yeah, no, I was absolutely surprised by that as well. he's just, but again, it plays into that idea that Shubi is very honest, and for him to say something like that should garner some more points in that kind of way, because this is that type of group that Shubi's gonna call it as it is, including calling out his number one ally. But at the same time, should Shubi be worried about Joey? Should Joey be worried about Shubi? I mean, both of them are pretty likable. So having Shubi say, yeah, Joey, you're my number one guy and you're my brother and I love you, but I'm worried about you. Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll talk about this later, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we saw Joey put Shubi as number 5 on his list, and I don't know if that was a response to this or he's just starting to recognize, I gotta play the game. But the Rebecca sort of everything just falls apart on poor Seburn. He's gonna need to cry into that giant teddy bear for a little while after this.
Yeah, he is, and it's... Oh, man, I do not know how this is going to play out. I said this in the last video. I'm getting real worried about him.
Yeah, I still really want to know this. Like, if there's one question that I could ask Seburn, it's this. Are you afraid to be a little bit more aggressive because you're playing as your girlfriend and you don't want to present your girlfriend in a potentially negative way at all? Because it feels like he is being very careful about what he's saying as her.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, but also at the same time, he has created this character of this sweet, shy, a little more naive character. So if all of a sudden it flipped the switch and he was more worldly or aggressive or whatever, people then would wonder, or I would wonder, what is going on with this person? Is there two people over there? This is not the same person that we've been getting to know this entire time.
I think that's why a part of the fun of the circle is that your gameplay, many days ago dictates your gameplay now, because it's sort of like once you sort of set yourself up, it's very hard to walk that back. And I mean, Sean temporarily did a good job at it. But...
Yeah, but then you've got, like we watched with Adam, where he came in, I'm going to be flirty and this and that and whatever. And then as he realized the game isn't like that, Alex started to come out, where he realized he needed to be a little more of himself or it was going to be the end, but by then it was too late for him.
Yeah, I think you have to find a way to sort of bring all sides to you kind of early on and then be reasonably consistent in that character. And I think Seburn put himself in a bad spot. He made Rebecca so nice in the early going, and I think he's finding it hard to sort of walk back on that. But Ed and his mom, who is still not contributing whatsoever to the gameplay.
I legit thought when I saw those two the first time that it was going to be Ed's picture and Tammy's responses. That's how that was going to play. Ed was going to be in the house, but it was really going to be, I'm not really Ed, I'm using my son's picture, my son is here, but I'm playing this game. She has contributed nothing, and it didn't turn out to be at all what I thought it would be.
Yeah, well, this is the first season. It's sort of like the circle, they still kind of have the training wheels on a little bit, and they don't really know how to ride just yet. Maybe they'll fix some of this stuff moving forward. I mean, we'll do a video at some point talking about some of the things we'd like to see in the future, but this hasn't quite worked out, though Eden himself...
He's tremendous entertainment. He really is. I love just hearing him talk about what's going on. I'm even more surprised that he's been able to stick around in this, just with the fact that he has felt like he has put in zero effort to get to know anybody. He's not starting chats. He's not really joining in that much. He is just not really there.
Well, let's talk then about Joey's strategy with him, because we don't really know exactly how the end of this show works. We haven't seen the UK version, and there's not even any guarantee that it's going to end the same way.
That's true.
So here's this person named Ed, who seems like a heel, seems like he's rubbing some people the wrong way, certainly Rebecca, and yet Joey is trying to befriend him. If you're Joey, is it smart to sort of subtly try to build up a relationship, try to get to know Ed a little bit more? Because if you have an opportunity, you are getting the super influencer power, people seem to like you, Can you drag Ed to the end of the game? Because if Ed's at the end, nobody's voting for Ed to win.
No, and more what I was thinking that maybe a bit of his plan would be after we saw that Joey had super influencer, he decided not to get rid of Rebecca, which I think was the right move. I think he did the right thing with that.
Yeah.
But if you're starting to finesse Ed a little bit, and you already know Ed doesn't like Rebecca.
Yeah.
Can Ed not get rid of Rebecca for you then?
Yes.
And that's,
ding, ding, ding.
And that's where I think it's going with that. Because Joey, he may not be sharing everything with us, but we can kind of get enough of an idea that his head is in the game.
Yeah.
He put Shuby at 5.
Yeah.
So he knows that these are all the steps that need to happen. Joey's playing.
This is the first episode that I've legitimately felt that. Like, where I've actually started to think of, okay, I still think Chris is the most capable strategic player in there. But I would say Joey may be number 2 right now because he is showing he's pretty smart. He's able to sort of think ahead. Like, I don't think he legitimately has Shuby at number 5, but I think he was recognizing, you know, I don't need Shuby to have power all the time. I think it might be good if I can try to get some power. I think he's thinking a step ahead on a couple of different things, and that's pretty wise at this point.
Yeah, it was exciting to see some of this strategic thinking from Joey. I thought I was going to see a little more of it from Chris throughout the season because he is playing that way. The issue is just he hasn't had enough power to really execute much of anything, and Joey's playing, and Joey's having some power, and this was a really good episode for that.
It was a really good episode, and I think Joey was in a tough position in a way because he is so close with a lot of these different people that it then suddenly becomes, okay, you know, I'm the most popular, which is awesome. But then on the flip side, there's not really a single person who Joey could have gotten rid of here who would have actually been someone who was going to be coming after him next. Like, he didn't need to win this power. He was going to be fine.
Yeah, he was going to be fine.
That's just what makes it so tricky, because that's like, let's think this decision through with Sean. Like, in the moment, did you think him blocking Sean was the right move?
I did. I thought that if he blocked, he wasn't going to block Shuby. We knew that.
Yeah.
Chris is sort of the only other interesting idea, but because they do sort of have this core, it makes sense not to block him or anybody from the core. So it doesn't really leave him with a lot of people. You're not going to block Rebecca. I know they were kind of playing that up. Oh, could he? It just didn't make any sense because he blocks Rebecca. Shuby's now pissed at him. It doesn't fix or help anything for Joey. It's not a good move. Ed, now that he's kind of got Ed, he knows Ed doesn't like Rebecca. Keeping Ed around is perfect because, like I said, you can get him to get rid of Rebecca. He already knows he's got it in for Rebecca. Perfect. It just left Sean.
I think that is the perfect process of elimination here. Like, we will not be on the same page strategically with every decision as we have shown this season, but I think we are both fully in lockstep here. The only other thing I could think about, and this is too risky, I would not have done this, is because technically you don't have to say you were the super influencer.
No.
He could, hypothetically, have made a move, gotten rid of someone like Chris and tried to blame it on someone else. Or the same thing with Rebecca. He could have gotten rid of Rebecca and then said, oh, you know, maybe Chris was the influencer, or try to pin it on somebody else.
He could have, but he has not played even a little bit of the lying game this season. He doesn't seem like he's really going to be that good at it. And it's possible, of course, he's snowing all of us and he could be the best liar on the planet.
Yeah.
This is all just a big act on us too. But I just don't think that. He's been playing this game that feels very genuine. He's been genuine with everybody from the start. And I don't know that he'd really be able to pull that off or anyone's going to believe it.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
And that's why when he came clean about being the super influencer, and Ed and his mom were like, oh, why would he do that? I would never do that. Yeah, of course, you guys would never do that. This makes sense for the game that Joey's been playing, to tell everybody, let everybody in on it. It continues to push forward the narrative that he is genuine. He is here to be honest with everybody. What you see is what you get. and he's owning up to stuff. And he has shown that in the past as well.
Yeah.
Remember the other game where it was all anonymous? And
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, I'll come out.
Yeah.
Message.
It's true. It's true. It's Joey. This fits the pattern with Joey. I do think the anonymous stuff would have been too risky. You can't run the risk of something coming back on him.
Not this late in the game. It's too late.
Yeah, at this point in the game. But one thing that was interesting in hearing him talk through strategy was him making it very clear that he does not want to go to the final three with Shuby and Rebecca. That doesn't mean he wants to get rid of both of them, but he wants to at least get rid of one of them.
Well, for sure. And I think that is a good strategic move as well. Although, personally, I wouldn't want to be sitting at the end with Shuby.
No, I would not want to be sitting at the end with Shuby. I mean, granted, if I am at the end with Shuby, do I think I can get the votes of Chris? Maybe. I have Miranda. I think that one's pretty locked in. I think Joey did a really good job with Sean, or about as good of a job as he could. We have been railing on why we haven't seen people explain their decisions through. I think Joey did that.
Yeah, he did do that. And I think that is going to help him at the end. If there's a jury of peers or whatever it is, again, I don't know how this show ends. I haven't seen the UK version. And again, we don't know if it's going to be different for this year. I don't know. They haven't explained it yet. But I would be worried about that.
Yeah.
That sending people out the door, like we've seen on Big Brother, sending them out salty, not doing a good enough job, really reassuring people. That's why Joey has been playing such a strong game, because he has been making people feel like he's really genuine, like he is not here to hurt anybody, and that he really believes in people and feels for people. He's done a great job with that.
I still think Chris could beat him, and I think Shuby could potentially beat him. But I think, really, I think all of those four, the Joey, Sammy, Shuby, Chris, I think all four of them could ultimately win this season.
Absolutely. I think Chris is still, even though he hasn't been influencer a lot, he still has these connections with everyone. He's so charismatic. Yeah. He's so friendly with everyone. And everybody, there's just something about him that you talk to him and you trust him immediately. And that is one of the most dangerous things in this game. And I think Chris is going to be very hard to beat. I definitely wouldn't want to sit at the end with Chris.
No, and Chris could go up there and he could just be like, listen, I've been influencer here and there, but I haven't been influencer every week. But at the same time, you guys haven't gotten rid of me. I have survived being in danger a lot. And that's a pretty compelling argument.
And also the argument is the same as Joey's. If he was sitting with a Joey or a Shuby, where he can also say, I have been genuine through this whole game. What you see is what you get. So that's not an argument that really any of those four that you mentioned can make, because they've all been there. So what else have you got?
Can I just say this, though? There's a big part of me that just wants Seburn to win this season, just so I can see him, dancing and spinning around with this bear. And, because the Seburn reactions make the season. So, Seburn, fix your game. You gotta get this through to the finish line so that you and your bear can leave this pink room that you've been in this whole season.
Seburn is so much fun to watch. I don't think he's gonna win.
Probably
this game,
not.
But my goodness, I really love him. He's been just a pure joy to watch. Really, he brings in something so interesting that I can't help but love him. He has such a good energy, and he makes me smile every time he's on the screen.
This is such a weird show, really. I mean, we've been watching, almost 10 hours worth of just people sitting in their rooms individually, voice talking to each other and sharing niceties, and yet here we are.
Completely involved.
Yeah, I know. It's all in. We've recorded hours worth of content on this, and we have 2 episodes to go. We will be here with those very, very soon.
Yeah.
But let us know what you thought about Joey's decision. Who you think is playing the best game right now in the comments. And if you like this video, just be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking that link in the description to the Carter Mat store. And we'll see you here next time.